Hello, I'm Spencer Wright.
My name is Bella Fishbane, and this is our tiny house.
Yeah, we're out in beautiful Boulder Creek. It's a bit of a rainy day, but we'd love to show you all about it. So we have the house situated out in California, Northern California, so it's beautiful 9 months out of the year. So we put in this garage door right here so that we can open up the whole house to this deck, and we have a nice view of the mountains right behind us. So it's really easy to just pop that open. And now the inside of the house is the outside of the house.
Yeah, one of the concepts going into the home was kind of marrying indoor space with outdoor space. So our home has a lot of natural light, a lot of windows, and a lot of ways of like opening it up so it feels like you're both inside and outside at the same time.
So now we're in the kitchen, and I think a lot of people think about tiny houses and they think about all the compromises and stuff, and we really took it in the total other direction of trying to make the tiny house that did not have any compromises.
Yeah, we wanted to create a tiny house without the downsides of going tiny, basically.
Yeah, so our kitchen is really built to be full size, and not just full size, but taking that small element and then using that as an opportunity to maximize all of the different things that you're going to put into it. Mm-hmm. So, we installed a flat flush Wolf professional range. And so that gives us all of this counter space back. It's really easy to kind of take a cutting board and set it on there, and you can use that space instead of having to have lost it all to your kitchen range. And it also just looks really nice. I think when you're in a tiny house, you have to bear in mind that you're going to be seeing everything that's in your house just all the time. You kind of can't get away from it. So aesthetics are sort of just that much more important in a tiny house as compared to a normal house. And you're only having to buy something once. So invest early, invest in the front end, and you reap the benefits on the back end. So outside of the range, we got a full-size hood vent. We love keeping our pans elevated up here. Makes just so nice to have them out of the way. This is actually something that in the apartments and stuff that we used to rent, we would never actually have the space for that. But in a tiny house, it's just so much easier to design the space that you want. So we have all of these nice little sliding cabinets. It's plenty of space really for everything that we use on a daily basis, and it's all very accessible. A full-size fridge, or at least what we think of as a full-size fridge, with a freezer on top. When it comes to our eating habits, we're the sort of people that like to grocery shop once or twice a week, and we eat almost all fresh produce and things like that. So we don't keep around a whole lot of extra stuff. I think that's
we like to shop more frequently and go to farmers markets, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So you can easily go to the grocery store, pick up all the vegetables and fresh meats and stuff that you want. You're going to have no trouble stuffing in this side of a fridge. A little bit of freezer space in case you need it for something. But we pretty much cycle everything out of the fridge once or twice a week and eat it all. Yeah. So it's cool. It works out perfectly. If you come over here, we opted not to do a full-size oven. We went for a mini convection, largely because we wanted it to be what's called a combi oven. So this actually has the ability to inject steam into the oven at the same time. So it's a convection oven and a steam oven. In order to get something like that on a full-size oven, it would be thousands of dollars. And we thought, well, we'd rather just go with something a little simpler. And it really works perfectly when it comes to roasting vegetables and stuff like that. It performs really, really well, but then you can also steam, and you can also do sort of slower roasts and stuff like that in it. It's a really versatile oven. We included the washer-dryer combo unit in our kitchen. For a long time. We
went back and forth.
We just kind of assumed it would be in our bathroom, I think. And when we realized, well, if we put it into the kitchen, where we actually don't need all this cabinet space, we could free up a whole bunch of room in our bathroom for closet space. And that was much a more valuable exchange, I think, for us.
We basically got a walk-in closet out of doing that.
And it's really kind of nice. It's more convenient to kind of do laundry folding and stuff out here anyway. For people on the fence about combo units, in my opinion, they're amazing. Yeah. It's incredible. You can put your laundry in there and you go away for hours and they just come back dry, and you never have to change it over. It's actually way better. I hope that I kind of never go back.
Yeah, in a way it's kind of easier on your clothing. They tend to hold up better, lose color less because it's all combined. So it kind of steams and makes them nice.
So huge sink, which is really nice when, we have a daughter. She's a little old now to be in the sink, but all through, up until 2 years old, bathing in the sink. Perfect size for that. Really fun. We've got a little, storage underneath. I do think that maybe be mindful with tiny houses of where your trash can's going to go. It can be a kind of thing that's awkward afterwards. If your trash can's too small, you end up changing it all the time, which is what we do. It's not the end of the world, but it's something that you can think about. And then definitely something not to leave out, in my opinion, is a dishwasher drawer. It's something that's like a small investment up front, and it saves you time for the rest of your life.
So we've got under the bed storage. This lifts up, and it's like, we can lift it up and show you guys. So we do like more long-term suitcases, that sort of thing in here. Yeah, dividers.
But I do think the bed, at the end of it all, is probably our favorite room in the house.
Yeah, the bedroom is amazing. So it's got this huge portrait window, which makes it just feel, if you lay back, you feel like you're just kind of outside laying in the stars.
Yeah, this cool effect is when you lie back, the wall behind you just disappears. So you're just looking back and you can see up to the stars, you can see out to the trees and everything like that. When you're down in the great room and you're looking up, kind of lets you see the sky from the great room, and it just lets in a lot of light. But combined with that, we put up on the ceiling, there's this wood paneling. And again, it provides one of these effects of when you're lying back on it and you're looking up, you have whiteboards with a black background. And so you kind of can't see the top. And that gives you this sense of infinity. So when you're lying on the back, you don't feel the edges of the space around you. The ceiling is disappearing, the wall behind you is disappearing, and all of it feels incredibly open, even though it's really just a bed in a room.
Yeah, so literally our bedroom only fits our bed, but it's a king-size bed, and we got a really nice mattress for it and nice sheets, and that was part of our going into getting a tiny house, was thinking, okay, we're going to try to make every part of this home as nice as we can. So this is the great room. It's one of our favorite rooms in the house. Basically, it has no walls. It's all just windows. The garage door on one side and then a sliding glass door on the other. And then we've got the kitchen that we can see from here, and underneath the kitchen there are stairs that pull out.
All of this comes out. I won't take it all the way out, but you can see this right here is a table, and so that all lifts up, and underneath that are basically storage boxes, just like underneath the bed, all sectioned out. I mean, it's tons and tons of storage room. Too much storage space, honestly. There are also benches that run the entire length of the kitchen that's stored underneath here. We've actually taken one of those and we moved it out to a canvas bell tent that we keep back behind the house. So we kind of spread those out and spread them around.
But if we wanted to, we could pull all of this out and basically set up this whole room as a table. As a dining room table that would sit, like 12 people? Yeah, 12 people.
As it happens, it's usually more convenient to just do it outside. Instead, we keep this little bar table right here. So little high-top stools. It's really nice. During the warmer months, you pop open the garage door, leave it open all day. You know, we can be working here, going in and out. Esher can be running around.
This is usually where we eat dinner, at this bar table.
And we have another stool that we just stored, and actually we have two other stools. One of them stored in the benches, and one of them is just underneath here that we can pull out really easily. So it's very convenient to sit three. When we don't want to, we can kind of slide it out, sit more than three. I mean, it's a relatively small table, but it's perfect for every day. And then we have some larger tables that we store for when we need them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things going into the tiny house is like we thought we would pull out all these tables every day, but actually the lived experience, it's made us kind of adapt our house and change some things around.
So when you come into this space...
this leads into a little office space. So I can section this off and then flip up these tables. And also open the window if I want to. But this is perfect for like a little standing desk, and I do remote work. My work is mostly just completely on the computer. So this is a great place to work, and it kind of separates me out from the rest of the house. I can close off these curtains and have my own private space.
We have an outdoor table, like little ledge right there. I have to say that like if anybody's thinking about doing a similar sort of thing, do try your best and make sure that this is like flush. Like the windows are flush with the table, and the table outside is flush, so that it could all be opened up into one large table. When you have like this sort of gap in the middle, it makes it not work as well. It's still like sort of aesthetically maybe nice to have it out there. And also like if you were to open up the windows, they kind of go across the table, which sort of keeps you from putting planters and stuff out there. So just sort of stuff to think about. It's not anything that like I think of as like a problem in the house on a daily basis, but like
it's stuff we might do differently, like get an accordion window instead, something like that. Yeah.
So we have this like super bulky ladder right here. We opted to make sure that it was a really robust ladder because we knew that our daughter would be climbing up and down it. We knew when she was that age, we knew we would be climbing up it with her in our arms.
In our arms, yeah. So we moved in, our daughter was almost a year, I think.
Yeah.
So we knew that the ladder had to be like
super tough,
sturdy.
Super tough. So if you back up, Bill, and I'll pull this guy up. But so it's solid wood. There's actually no hardware in the entire thing. So it's like built to last 100 years. But you can see that like all of it, it's very easy to climb up. You've got rails the whole way, and it's super stable. I think I've never seen a ladder as stable as this in a tiny house, and every time I see one with a more wobbly ladder, I'm glad that we invested in ours.
The one downside is that it is heavy, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I would basically opt for like this style or one that's like literally embedded in the wall. I mean, almost everything in the house was sort of custom designed to our specifications. It's been since we did that with our builder, and then like we're working with him to create a new model at the same time. So it's now available. This house is like now available through New Frontier Tiny Homes that you could buy it, but at the time everything was custom designed to our specifications. So
going into it, we had seen his original model, which was the Alpha, which is a beautiful home, but it's not really practical for a family.
Yeah.
So we basically modified that home into a more sort of family home. Okay, so I'm going to show you our daughter's room, which we decided that she would have her own separate space away from ours. So we're literally as far away from her as we can be in a tiny house. And she walks up these steps by herself. She's been doing it since she was about 1. So this is our daughter's room, and unlike most tiny houses with 2 lofts, this loft is an L-shaped loft. So one part of the L basically fits a twin-size bed. She's been sleeping in this since she was about 1, and we like it because going into the home, we knew we wanted to double it as a rental space, so we wanted to maximize the utility. So an adult can sleep up here or lounge up here, and also it was great for our daughter. The second part of the L is like a little play space that you walk up, and then you've got basically all of this section to play up. We've got some cabinets up here, and then a gate that can close off so that you don't have to worry about her going down the loft when you don't want her to. But one really nice thing about this space, again, is the windows. So 3 windows can really open it up and make it not feel very cramped. In fact, it's really cozy, and sometimes we like to come up here and lounge and read. Yeah, we've thought about kind of transitioning the space into more of a lounge space, less of a kid's room, and like adding a TV or something like that. But I think eventually we'll probably take it into a library. I think if we had to do it all over again, we would not pick light blue for the wall color. We would do like a forest green for here. She actually has one of the best views in the house looking out the window. You can see these mountains, and you can watch the sunrise and like the fog rolling in. It's just gorgeous up here.
So now we're in the bathroom. So like we were talking about with the bedroom, you kind of want each room to have these special things. So for us, we focused a lot on the shower. I think in tiny houses, it's hard to focus on the toilet and making it really nice, but you can totally focus on the shower and make it really, really nice. So we were able to get some Riverstone pebbles on the bottom of the shower. So it gives a really nice effect when you step into it. You really feel like you're in a different place. And we have a Nevia shower head that's in there that creates a steam effect. It's perfect for 2 people in the shower if that's your thing, and it's very, very comfortable, really, really warm, and it creates a very inviting environment. And the full glass door really helps to keep in the heat. So we opted for the Separete waterless toilet. People talk about composting toilets, waterless toilet, because like no composting happens inside of it. And I think, like, honestly, I've never heard of anybody who actually composts. The reality is that you can end up throwing out the solid waste probably rather than composting it, which I think is fine. It's something that definitely works. It's too bad because I thought it could have been great. I think there are better options right now, out there right now, maybe more in the incinerating market. If you have the electricity for it, the Cinderella toilets are really, really cool. The Envirolet, if you're really into the composting toilets, is maybe a cooler option for a composting toilet. All of these are very expensive. The separate totally works for what it is. Unfortunately, I think it's relatively expensive for what it is. But it at least kind of looks nice. It's too bad that it's like all plastic. But one thing that I think you can think about with this is that there are areas to improve it. So one of the big areas that you can do is neoprene lining all around this edge in here so that you get a nice, better seal across the edge, and it also helps to make it feel more stable. It's not wobbling as much. So if you do opt for a separate toilet, just expect that like when you get it in, you're going to do a few things to make it better, because it really doesn't ship in its best state. You can go in and very simply improve it in a number of different ways. Keeping with the sort of theme of like not compromising, we did not want a small sink. We want to make sure that it had the feel of a full-size sink. So we opted for this sort of like little tulip bowl that stands up. It's kind of nice for somebody who's taller, but then also works for somebody who's shorter as well. We have like a nice full-size mirror, and then right here we have little shelving for all of our like face care and stuff like that. So all in all, I mean, it's a very functional bathroom. We tried to make it also feel very nice. It's definitely smaller, but the shower, on the other hand, is really quite large, I think. And we also have a full closet here that Bella will tell you all about.
So we've got a full-size walk-in closet, and it fits all of our clothing. So my clothing, Spencer's, and also our daughter's. And one of the things going into it was, of course, downsizing our wardrobe. And that was probably more challenging for me than anyone else. But one of the key realizations that made it so much easier was realizing if I have less objects, I can, again, invest more in them. So instead of having like 30 dresses that I hardly ever wear, I can instead invest in like 3 or 4 really nice ones that I love and enjoy. And that's just kind of been a principle throughout our house. So we've got all of our hanging clothes over here, dresses, coats, that sort of thing. Rolling clothes, jeans, tops, and then little drawers. And all of our bathroom stuff can fit in these baskets down here. Honestly, it's plenty of space. We've never really felt like we wanted a larger closet.
So obviously when you're living in a tiny space, I think you are going to put some attention into your outdoor space, because you'll likely be spending a fair amount of time into it.
So much of living in a tiny house is spending a lot of time outside of the house. And, you know, like you don't spend all day in the house. You spend a lot of time in nature, hopefully if you live in the right sort of climate for it as well.
So all of our landscaping is xeriscaping and was free. So if you don't like it, it was free. And if you do like it, it was free. So like we live like our house is like way out in the middle of nowhere, so we have like all of this land surrounding us, and the land has this sort of gravelly material. So when we first got here, this was just all a dirt pit, and it's still kind of a dirt pit. If it wasn't so wet, you could see that it was different, but like all of this is graveled with this sort of shaly stuff, and we just like shoveled it off and like spread it all over the place, and it's totally worked. It takes a lot of work, but
it's worth mentioning, like, why is it free? One of the things going into the house was there are a lot of expenses that kind of add up. It's a very new sort of thing to do, so things can go wrong. So we didn't really have the money to invest in landscaping.
We put
so we
everything
had to,
into the house.
Yeah,
it's kind of like not our land, so there's only so much we're willing to invest into the land. So we invested our labor rather than our dollars, and we invested our dollars into the house. So we put all the gravel around here. I've like, anytime I'm like out, like either chopping down a tree or just out in the woods, if I see a really cool like log that's got some cool moss growing on it or something like that, I drag it back here, I add it to our little xeriscape Zen garden. It like needs to be touched up from time to time to get like that elevation. It's sort of like all things return to dust. But it, I think, totally works, and it gives a nice little extra appeal, uses up some of the space.
Of course, the biggest appeal of this whole space is just the mountain view, which you'll see in just a moment.
And which did not come for free. Had to cut down a lot of trees to make that view, but definitely worth the work. And the nice thing about cutting down the trees is we got all of these logs to create a nice little barrier along the outside of there. So like there's an amazing amount of work, amazing amount that you can do with the sort of natural materials that are available to you. So you got this really nice view of the Santa Cruz Mountains here. The sunset's back behind us, And so this always just gets really lit up. Beautiful colors, it's wonderful. Actually, sorry, the sunset's this way. It rises over on this side.
And the deck, it's such a nice space. I mean, you can sit out here and work. We've got a grill out here, so we have dinners a lot of times. I really like setting up my yoga mat out here and just, exercising with the mountains on one side and the house on the other.